In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the two properties of the table tag, which is row span and column span, to modify the look of a table when it's displayed. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to create a 5 by 5 table. So I'm going to erase this line, we don't need it. I'm going to erase these script tags. And now I'm going to start designing the table. You saw in the previous video how we use the table tag, so I'm going to use the same tags. So I'm going to start with table. And then I'm going to say the width to be, let's say, 100%. So it's going to cover the whole screen. I'm going to say border to be equal to 1 pixel. And then I'm going to make sure that the border is not drawn twice. It's going to be 1. So I'm going to use style, and then I'm going to use border collapse. Remember this property from yesterday's video, and the value of the property is going to be collapse. This means that make the two borders into one border, and that's all we need to define for the table. So I'm going to end it with table tag again. Now I'm going to define my first row with tr, and then say, since we decided to have five columns in our table, I'm going to design 5 cells on first row. So to define the cell, I'm going to use td. I'm going to put 1 as the data. And now to make it faster, I'm going to copy this one 4 more times. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4 more times, and then I'm going to close it. But I'm going to change the numbers, this one to be number 2, this one to be number 3, this one to be number 4, and this one to be number 5. Now I'm going to copy and paste this one 4 times. We already have 1 row. So this is the second row, third row, fourth row, and fifth row. Now I'm going to change the numbers. This is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there is a mistake here. This is really 6. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. And this is 10. So the increment is by 5. So this becomes 15. This becomes 20. This becomes 25. So by 5 this is 9. By 5 this is 14. This is 19. This is 24. By 5 this is 8, 13, 18, and 23. 7. So this is 14. This is 19. And this is 24. 1, 6, 11, 16, and 21. So this is our table, which is 5 rows and 5 columns. Let's see how it looks. You can see now you have 5 rows, 5 columns, but still the problem is the border here. So let's see where the problem is. It says style is equal to border collapse. Oh, this is incorrect. So it has to be collapse. So now you can see that we have the table, the border seems to be okay, and every cell has been numbered accordingly. So now you can see that our table is 5 rows and 5 columns. Now let's say I want all these cells to be merged into one cell, meaning number 1, which is in this cell, to occupy the whole width of the first row. This means that this cell has to span 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So when I define it, I have to add the property of column span, and this column span is going to be 5 because there are 5 columns. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to add the property Col span. This is the property name, and the value is equal to 5. This means that all these definitions for other cells, they have to be erased. So I erase these. So this means that this cell is going to span 5 columns, and the value inside the cell is 1. Let's see what will happen. You can see that all these cells are merged together as one cell. This is the purpose of using column span. Now, there are cases that you want to merge the middle cells. Let's say I want to merge cell 9 and 10 together. There are 2 columns that they have to be merged here, this cell and this cell. So I'm going to add column span to cell containing 9 to be equal to 2 because I want to merge these 2. So I can go back here for 9, which is here. I'm going to say column span is equal to 2. This means that I don't need 10 anymore. So this is going to be erased. Now, if I look at it in the browser, you can see that 9 is now merged with 10, and it occupies 2 columns. The same way, we can have cells in a column to be merged together. For instance, let's say I want 7, 14, and 19 to be merged together. So 7, 14, and 19, these 3 cells. Now, in this case, the cell which contains 7 has to span 3 rows. Remember, these are rows now. So the cell which has 7 has to span 3 rows. This means that in the definition of cell containing 7, I'm going to add row span, and the value is 3. And I'm going to erase the definition for the cell which has 14 and 19 and erase them. So let's go ahead and do it. So for 7, which is here, the definition, I'm going to say row span is equal to 3 because I want to go 3 rows down. And the one which is 7 and 14, meaning this one, I don't want it anymore. And also 19, I don't want 19 anymore too. So I can erase it. Now, if you look at it, you can see 7 occupies 3 rows together. Now, why do we need to do this one is that when you are designing a web page, there are cases so many times that you start with a complete table as we did at the beginning, 5 by 5. Then depending on the design, you have to merge these cells together to come up with a table which is going to duplicate the requirement of the design. And then within each one of these cells, you can insert image, link, text, form elements like text box, button, and drop down list, and so many other things.